Maya he, Maya he, Maya ha, Maya ha, Maya he, Maya ha. Just live your life, your life, your life, your life, Maya he.
Chilling clip shows creature in Polish forest. An unnerving, albeit questionable video recording of an unidentified creature has recently gone viral online. Let's take a look at the video. Could these video sightings be considered proof that we are not alone? You be the judge. You be the judge.
Airplane frozen in the sky? Recently a man uploaded a video to YouTube titled, "Is this plane hovering?" The description reads, "I was leaving DFW Airport near Dallas when I saw this plane that was coming in for a landing, but it was so slow that it appeared to hover. Could this airplane be frozen in the sky? Is it utilizing advanced technology to hover? Or could it be an optical illusion?" You be the judge.
Alright, the first story I got for you. I hope you enjoy this new little format I'm making the videos. I hope everyone on TikTok doesn't mind it. Anyways, I have a real interesting video for you, and it's about, maybe you never heard about it, maybe you have heard about it, but it's about archaeologists have uncovered a 100-year-old watch in a tomb believed to have been undisturbed for 400 years. And certain people, whistleblowers, truth tellers, whatever you want to call them, certain people have talked about this as proof of time travel, that a government time traveler, they're known as chrononauts, was sent back to do this. So I'll let you be the judge. You let me know what you think in the comments. We'll check this story out. The mysterious timepiece was encrusted in mud and rock and had stopped at 10:06 a.m. Watches were not around at the time of the Ming Dynasty, and Switzerland did not even exist as a country, an expert pointed out. The archaeologists were filming a documentary with two journalists when they made the puzzling discovery. Quote, "We tried to remove the soil wrapped around the coffin. Suddenly a piece of rock dropped off and hit the ground with a metallic sound," said Zhang Yimyu, former curator of the Guangxi Museum. "We picked up the object and found it was a ring. After removing the covering soil and examining it further, we were shocked to see it was a watch," he added. The Ming Dynasty, or the Empire of the Great Ming, was the ruling dynasty in China from 1368 to 1644. So that's very interesting. Let's take a look at that watch. Like I said, you guys be the judge and let me know what you think. Yeah, so here's the watch. Alright, thank you for checking this one out.
Woman claims to have proof that she was abducted by aliens. November 21, 2021. A popular TikTok user maintains that she was abducted by aliens who removed some of her eggs. Shira Lumira Rejoice, who goes by the handle @ShiraRejoice on the popular clip-sharing platform, not only claims that she has been abducted by extraterrestrial visitors but that she also has proof of this in the form of scarring from the medical procedures that they performed on her. Let's take a look at what she has to say and you be the judge.
Woman claims she was abducted by aliens who stole her eggs and says she has the ultrasound to prove it. She claims that 3 of her eggs were removed by them for hybrid babies. Shira Lumira Rejoice shared her memorable experience on TikTok and recalled how the aliens came to her house 3 years ago. She wrote that she did not give permission to the aliens to have her eggs removed, adding, "For context, they took 3 of my eggs." Her video left viewers baffled as they questioned if she remembered anything while being abducted. Shira then posted a series of story time and explained that it was one of the most memorable moments in her life. She clarified that she wasn't taken to a mothership but the aliens visited her home. Shira didn't realize she had her eggs removed until later, when she was working on a shaman for healing guidance.
Here it is, ladies and gents, the story time for my alien quote-unquote abduction. Not necessarily an abduction. I'm gonna be as authentic about this and as I can be, and relay everything that I specifically remember about this happening to me. I know there are a lot of folks that obviously do not believe me, and that was to be expected. And there's a lot of folks that are like totally on my side and have actually experienced something similar, and that's kind of why I decided to make this TikTok. I did not expect it to blow up like this, and I'll definitely be addressing some of the horrible negative comments that were posted in some of those TikToks, but for now I'm just gonna speak from what I experienced, and if you find truth in it, that's great, and if you see me, that's awesome, and if you don't, then you don't. That's gonna obviously happen with stories like this. So I'm gonna take it back to 4 years ago. It was 2018. I was a completely different person then. But what had happened was I was laying on the couch in my little condo here, and I was laying face up specifically and, going to sleep. So essentially I was asleep, and I never really lay face up whenever I sleep, so that was interesting. But I remember just instantly feeling this paralysis, like freezing. It was like my body couldn't move, nothing. And I look over at the door and it opens, and there's this figure, and it's like a holographic looking figure. And it essentially is like gray, but it has a black outlining over it. So it's like a human figure with a black outlining over it.
Bizarre video of flying deer goes viral. January 19, 2022. A video clip of a deer leaping so high in the air that it appears to be flying has emerged online this week. Let's take a look at the video.
Weird translucent fish discovered in the sea near Alaska July 7, 2022. This bizarre ocean-dwelling fish was found in the depths of the North Pacific by a group of NOAA scientists. Sporting a translucent, gelatinous body with white spots and a suction cup on its belly, this bizarre creature is known as a blotched snailfish, or Crystalichthyes cyclospilus. It lives deep down on the ocean floor at depths of over 2,700 feet and is found only in the North Pacific. This particular specimen was discovered by researchers from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA) during a routine survey of the ocean off the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. According to expedition member Sarah Friedman, the fish was very gelatinous to the touch. This is thought to be an adaptation to maintain neutral buoyancy and efficiently swim while coping with the crushing pressure of the deep sea, she told Live Science. They live in relatively remote locations and at deeper depths, so the average person will never encounter this species.
What do you think? Is this bizarre fish weird as some have called it, or beautiful? You be the judge.
Bizarre three-tentacled sea monster identified. January 31, 2020. Marine experts have shed light on a recent viral video showing a bizarre sea creature with 3 tentacles. The unusual footage was originally posted up on video sharing social media site TikTok by user Natalia Vorobot. However, the exact circumstances and location remain unclear. The video shows the creature flapping about on a wooden decking or pier, presumably after being fished up by the young man whose voice can be heard expressing disbelief at the peculiar catch. "What the hell? What is that? Mom," he can be heard shouting. "Ma, you see this? Holy *****, his mother replies. "What the hell is that?" The video quickly prompted a great deal of speculation on social media, with some users likening the creature to something out of the Netflix series Stranger Things. Now though, Marcus Williams, a marine animal expert at the Ocean Conservation Trust, has shed light on the mystery by revealing what his team believes the creature to be. From what we can see, it does appear to be an underdeveloped skate.
Could this be just a skate, or is it some kind of unknown extraterrestrial race? Let's take a look at the video and you be the judge.
This next story is about a humanoid creature allegedly caught in a zoo by a backpacker in Romania. This clip was posted May 2nd, 2014. The description reads, "Just got this from a source who was backpacking through Eastern Europe and filmed this in a zoo in Romania. Some sort of freak? It's pretty weird. Hope he sends more clips."
Okay, so I'm in this really crappy zoo in Romania. They got this really weird creature caged up. It looks like some sort of deformed human. I'm gonna try to use some footage of it.
Nu-l atinge nimic. Să nu atinge, nu te pot. Vezi că îi prinde sânge? Da, cine știe, Doamne, să nu ne omoare din ce-o fi făcut. Oare din ce-o fi rău? L-a hărât. Pleacă, du-te și lasă-le. Fii femeie, fii bărbat. Aia nu mai putem să ne ferim de el.
Hei, oprește telefonul! Oprește telefonul de la! Hei, oprește telefonul! Oprește telefonul de la!
strange creatures filmed in Argentina and Brazil. 2 videos have recently emerged showing unidentified creatures lurking around in the darkness. Little is known about the footage other than that it was uploaded onto image video sharing site IMGUR and was later picked up by the Phantoms and Monsters blog. The creatures in the 2 clips are thought to have been filmed on separate occasions in different South American countries, Argentina and Brazil, and are not directly connected. The first, judging by the background noise, was filmed in a suburban area and shows the creature, which sort of resembles a wolf-like animal, skulking around behind some garden furniture. The second shows a similar animal briefly emerging from some foliage. Again in the dark, it's difficult to say what these creatures could be, and while it's possible they are wolves, or perhaps wolves with some disfiguring ailment, we just don't know for sure at this stage. Alright, let's take a look at the clips. Could these creatures be an undiscovered species? You be the judge. Worker captures alleged Bigfoot on dash cam. Shot 30 miles east of the Banff Park boundary near Nordig, Alberta. The short clip was recorded by an oil-filled worker who had been driving along when he picked up something at the side of the road. According to the accompanying description, he hadn't noticed anything unusual at the time and only discovered the anomalous figure when he reviewed the footage later for unrelated reasons. The Bigfoot itself is rather indistinct to say the least. A dark, shapeless form visible between the trees that could just as easily be a patch of foliage or a gap between the branches cast in shadow. Even so, the worker who captured the footage was quite convinced and even filmed himself returning to the same spot the next day to look for evidence that a creature had been there. He found what appeared to be an area of branches and foliage where something large had been lying down, as well as a number of dark brown hairs and what looked like large footprints. Given the questionable nature of the original footage, it's difficult to jump to the conclusion that what he found was evidence of Bigfoot. However, judging by his reactions, there seemed little doubt in his mind that he had discovered something extraordinary. Let's take a look at that footage, and you be the judge. this here. Oh yeah, something was laying in here. Holy shit. Went down here. The myth of Nali Ba. The myth of Nali Ba. Imagine it's midnight and you hear someone at the front door of your house. You recognize her voice, so you open the door. But the person standing on your doorstep is not who you thought it would be. Instead, you find a witch, Nali Ba, and the timer on your life begins to tick down. You have less than 24 hours left. Part of Indian mythology, more specifically Bangalore Nali Ba or Nale Ba, is a witch. This witch was known to roam around at midnight or late at night and knock on people's doors. She would call out in a familiar voice, asking to be let in. In many stories, she targeted men, calling out to them using the voices of the women they loved, mother, sister, wife, or lover. In some versions of the legend, Nali Ba is also known as the Onion Witch. It is believed in some parts of India, this witch knocks on doors disguised as an old lady selling onions. Perhaps the most popular belief is that she is a bridal ghost, looking for her husband, which is why she targets men. Unfortunately, the men she seeks are not who she is looking for, and they are fated to die within 24 hours. Though her actual name is unknown, she is called Nali Ba because of the method in which the people were able to get rid of her. They would write Nali Ba, which translates to "come tomorrow," on their doors, when the witch would come to their home. She would see their note and leave, but that didn't mean she wouldn't come back. People were encouraged to wash their doors daily and rewrite the words to ensure the witch would not disturb them. Today you can still find the markings in some parts of Bangalore. If you haven't written Nali Ba on your door, then you can simply refuse to open it. This is a much more difficult decision, as she will beg and plead using the voice of your loved ones. In the town of Rameshwaram, India, April 1st is celebrated as Nali Ba Day. If you're still curious about Nali Ba, check out the 2018 Bollywood film, Stree. The film centers on a witch who abducts men at night when they are alone, leaving only their clothes behind. The people believe the spirit, referred to as Stree, is an angry woman who stalks men and whisks them away during the 4 days of a religious festival every year.
Bizarre video shows cops shooting at goblin like Pombero, in Paraguay. By T.K. Randall. October 2, 2022. The strange clip shows a police officer firing his gun at an unidentified creature that had broken into a building. According to a translation of a local media report, the incident, which occurred on September 16, saw police officers being called out to attend a disturbance in the Ida Enramada area of Paraguay's capital city Asunción. Footage recorded of the event shows the cops approaching a building while shouting at the unidentified perpetrator, who can be seen moving around inside. What's strange about the clip is the way that the mysterious figure seems to slide down onto the floor and scuttle away in one fluid movement. One of the cops even fires his weapon, though it's unclear if he actually hit anything. The footage quickly sparked fears that there was a Pombero on the loose, a type of mythological creature of local legend said to be notorious for capturing young women in the dead of night. It is often depicted as a small, goblin-like creature a bit like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Skeptics, on the other hand, argue that the creature in the clip may have simply been a monkey that had managed to break into the building, which might also explain why the cop was so quick to shoot. Whatever the case, it's certainly an interesting piece of footage.
The Sasquatch Tunnel. The Sasquatch Tunnel. Imagine taking a late night drive. You come upon a tunnel in desperate need of repair. Cracks are visible in the cement and graffiti is everywhere. Regardless, you choose to drive through, but your car suddenly dies. You try to restart it, but it won't turn over. Glancing into your rearview mirror, you see the shadow of a woman in your back seat. This is just one possibility of what could happen if you drive through the Sasquatch Tunnel. The Sasquatch Tunnel is located just off Big Elm Road in Kingsport, Tennessee. It was constructed in the 1920s along the Holston River on land owned by Edward Sasquatch, who also helped in its construction. A hill was blasted apart to make way for the road and tunnel, and to act as a support for the train tracks that ran over it for the C&O Railroad. The tunnel is over 12 feet high and 380 feet long. As the Holston River swells with heavy rainfall, it spills up and through the tunnel, leaving the ground in a constant state of wet and slick. Today, the exterior is littered with cracks and graffiti. The Sasquatch Tunnel is known as one of the most haunted locations in Tennessee and is nationally recognized as an urban legend. Legend has it that Edward Sasquatch was a good Christian man. When he met a homeless man, he chose to help him by allowing him to stay in his home. What he did not expect was for the homeless man to also be a thief. The homeless man filled his pockets with everything he could, including money and jewelry. When Edward caught him, he pulled a gun on the man, but the man wasn't about to surrender. He grabbed Edward's baby daughter and used her as a shield as he escaped the house. The homeless man ran, but he knew he couldn't keep the baby, especially with Edward hot on his tail. As he reached the Sasquatch Tunnel, he made the decision to toss her in the river, thereby removing one of his burdens and causing a necessary distraction as he made his escape. Another legend claims that Edward Sasquatch went mad and killed his entire family. He carried their bodies into the tunnel where he ultimately took his own life. The third legend revolving around the Sasquatch family, which was also believed to be the most accurate, claims that Edward lived a good life well into the 50s. His children all grew up and moved away, leaving him alone in his home by the tunnel. By that time, teenagers had begun to use the tunnel as a popular makeout spot. It became the place to go for mischief makers. Edward, being an old man by this time, was not happy about the kids' use of his tunnel and decided it was time to do something. He began to hide at one end of the tunnel, where he would shriek and yell loudly, hoping to scare them away. That's when the rumors started. People began to believe that the tunnel was haunted, and the sounds they were hearing were the restless spirits of the dead. Other stories claim that a woman driving home one night during a thunderstorm reached the Sasquatch Tunnel just as her car broke down. She ventured out toward the Sasquatch home but never made it. The final legend states that a young pregnant woman was chased out of her home. As she walked, she came upon the tunnel where she went into labor. She screamed out for help, but help never arrived. Both she and her baby died that day in the tunnel. Those brave enough to visit the tunnel report that if your car dies, or if you choose to shut it off in the middle of the tunnel, it won't turn back on. As you continue to try to get it started, you will see the ghost of Edward Sensabaugh approaching from behind. Just as he's about to reach you, the car will start back up. During the time you're stuck, or if you're on foot, you can hear the sound of Edward's footsteps. It has been reported that those who get stuck have sometimes seen the shadow of a woman in their back seat. Even those who haven't gotten stuck in the tunnel have reported looking in their rearview mirror to catch a sight of her. Then there's the cries of a baby. Today, mostly locals use the tunnel, and even then, most would prefer not to. If you're ever in the area, stop and see for yourself if the legends are true.
Do extraterrestrials exist? Have they made contact with Earth? Do we have proof? What is the truth? Would you even believe the truth? This picture was taken in the 1930s in Alaska. It was kept hidden for years. People reported sightings of a UFO right before this picture was taken. This next picture was thought to be taken in the late 1940s or early 1950s. Not much is known about this picture. This famous picture, called Man on the Moon, clearly resembles an alien-like creature captured next to a large crater on the lunar surface. Is this proof? You be the judge.
Here's a picture of Mars. By the way, this is not a professional tape. As you can see, these pictures are in a picture album, and I've just got my camcorder out, and Wendell and I are flipping through the pictures. So this is not a produced tape for you to look at. So It'll probably never be on the market, but at least you get a chance to see some of these pictures. This is Mars just from a different direction with the sun very bright on it. Now, here is Mars, but here's one of these satellites. It's in orbit around Mars, made on Earth, unannounced, and is in orbit. This is the spring of 1976, and this device is in orbit around Mars. I don't know exactly who made it or who put it up there. Here's another one. This is Mars again, and here's the light panels, solar panels, and the satellite equipment in orbit around Mars again. This is a different one. This is a dust storm on Mars. Billy wanted to get close and try to take pictures of artifacts. You've all heard about some of the Sidonoplasma on Mars, about the face on Mars, that Richard Hoagland and other people have been looking into. Billy published a paper back in the 70s talking about that. There was a race of people lived on Mars. They had a terrible catastrophe about 186,000 years back. At the time, there was about 40 million people killed on Mars, and they're all gone now, of course. So there were societies there, and we will find quite a few remains of their civilization once we get up there. Here he's on board one of their large motherships. This is the side or the edge of a saucer that was parked inside as he was walking by it. Here's Jupiter. Here's the mothership in orbit. They're flying into it to go aboard. It was 17 miles high and about 10 miles in diameter. He spent 3 days on it. They went to different places in our galaxy to show him around. This was the craft that was right in front of him as they were flying into it. He took a picture of that one. Here, again, is back at Mars. These aren't in any particular order. Here's another object in orbit around Mars. And look, here's an American flag on it. So there's a couple of things that they put up there that the military's put up that we don't know about. This is a picture of Billy in a suit. He's on a prehistoric planet to see the dinosaurs. He's got a breathing apparatus on. This is a Pleiadian man. And they've stepped outside of the ship so he can see the animal life on this prehistoric world. Got his picture taken, too. That's pretty good. This jumps back here to, remember the Apollo-Soyuz hookup, us and the Russians back in '76? Billy asked him if he could go up and watch it. They said, okay. They took him up. There's several pictures here of the Apollo-Soyuz hooking up with Earth in the background. Some of the wildest pictures he's got. I mean, just look at the vantage point. The planet's in the background. How else would you get this picture unless you were up there at that particular vantage point? Not a lot of people have that in their photo albums, you know. You can imagine the people at NASA would crack up, you know. They'd probably find it a little hard to believe at first, but they don't have pictures like this. Here it is when it's just hooked up. There's Earth in the background, and here's the two capsules coming together. This is the top of the mothership. There's windows, but there was nobody in the windows as they came into it. We really missed out here. Billy shot, he said, 3 or 4 rolls of film inside the mothership, talking to people and going up and down the halls and so forth. He lost all of the pictures. They were all stolen from him. We've only got 2 or 3 of them left, and they're really practically nothing. This is a prehistoric Earth. They're back in time. That's Earth in the background. That's a moon in front of Earth, and he's looking over the surface of another moon. At that point, they told him there were 2 moons in orbit around planet Earth. We think we're about 60 million years back. Here's another picture over the surface. Neither one of those moons is currently the moon that's in orbit now. The moon that's in our orbit now, they say, has only been there around 5 million years. Look at this one. This is another piece of equipment in orbit around Mars, and it's huge. It's like a space station. And it's in orbit around the planet. It's also from Earth. We haven't heard anything about that, have we? Here's the dinosaur pictures. Billy's back inside the ship, and there's a viewing screen in the craft, and he says he's taking these pictures. Here's our first dino. He's got kind of gold-brown skin, got large hind legs, short forelegs, and a head that looks kind of amphibian, like a vegetarian type. Here's the second one. There's a bird here apparently dropping some food or something. Is that Charles? Charles dropped his food. This one, This one's pretty hard to see. Here's the head of some sort of creature crashing through some bushes here. It's hard to tell. I know it's probably hard to see these anyway from back there, but just the idea that someone could actually go back in time just really gets my brain going. There's a bird. There's his eyes, some pretty nasty looking teeth. And the last picture after this one is the strangest of all. It's a plant that has an insect head. Billy calls it a plantum. They were trying to explain to him how the evolution of different life forms goes. How, for instance, here's a plant life when the plants are the food kingdom of the world. When the plants evolve to a certain level of evolution, then these lower order forms, here's a small head, and this head is part of that plant. There's these two little eyes. It's an insect, the beginning of insect life on the planet when the food kingdom has evolved high enough. There are 7 different stages, they say, of spiritual energies or creational energies on a planet that create the many different kinds of life forms. There's a transition from one kind to the next. Ours is the 7th or the last one. We have to wait until the animal kingdom has raised the evolution of the body material high enough so our cycles can start.
Melise Abraham was recently gifted a new phone for her birthday, when she decided to test out the camera and take a few random pictures and videos. Upon further examination later at her home, she noticed what looks like some sort of humanoid creature in one of the photos. Here's the original picture. Could this picture Melise took while walking her dog be a new species, or an alien life form as was first seen in the Men in Black movies? You be the judge and let me know what you think in the comments section.
Iridescent cloud over China sparks conspiracy theories. September 12, 2022. An explanation for this remarkable meteorological phenomenon was shared online by NASA, but not everyone was convinced. Resembling a bright multicolored halo of iridescence nestled in a formation of dark clouds, it's not difficult to see why this impressive spectacle has been drawing quite a bit of attention on social media. It was spotted over China's Yunnan province back on September 6. An image of the phenomenon captured by Jiaqi Sun was shared on Facebook as NASA's astronomy picture of the day. Behind this darker cloud is a pileus iridescent cloud, a group of water droplets that have a uniformly similar size and so together diffract different colors of sunlight by different amounts, NASA wrote. The formation of a rare pileus cloud capping a common cumulus cloud is an indication that the lower cloud is expanding upward and might well develop into a storm. While this would seem to put the matter to bed, several social media users commented on the picture to claim that there was something suspicious about such a perfect, and unusual, cloud formation. This led to a flurry to conspiracy theories, with some arguing that the cloud was a UFO, while others believed it to be evidence of secret government testing or geoengineering projects. Suffice to say, however, that NASA's explanation for the spectacle is more likely.
Ukrainian astronomers have observed unidentified flying objects, UFOs, filling the skies of Kyiv. According to astronomers, the UFOs have been detected from 2 meteor observation stations. One in Kyiv and another in the nearby village of Vinarivka. However, U.S. intelligence agencies said these flying objects are too fleeting to identify. And pointed to the use of aircraft and drones being used in the ongoing Ukraine war. Until now, the reports have not yet been reviewed in the study. So, astronomers have no idea what all it is.
Bob Lazar claims our government captured alien spaceships, UFOs, and keeps them in a secret warehouse. And that's not all. Bob says Uncle Sam hired him to figure out how they fly. If you're skeptical, you have plenty of company. Lazar has been questioned and criticized. He even had to take a lie detector test, and that's when some people started believing him.
Have in their possession alien spacecraft, and they are actively undergoing analysis.
And flying them?
And flying them. The effects that can cause, the way in which everything operates is by all intents and purposes, magic. I mean, it is so far beyond our level of technology.
Remember when American diplomats in Cuba were hearing those strange sounds and then suffered brain damage from some sort of mysterious invisible attacks? Well, there's now a report, actually multiple reports, of an eerily similar incident near the White House last year. And Senate Intelligence Committee leaders now say they will get to the bottom of it. They say the so-called Havana syndrome attacks against U.S. personnel appear to be increasing.
Well, when this first came to light back in 2017, the U.S. government referred to them as targeted attacks affecting U.S. personnel serving in Cuba. But over the years, the investigation stalled, and the U.S. stopped using the word attacks or weapons, instead simply referring to these as health incidents, as the U.S. government struggled to figure out what was going on, and a growing number of experts questioned whether it might just be mass hysteria. But today, two top senators briefed on the intelligence say these were definitely attacks carried out by some type of weapon. NBC News has reported that the U.S. government considers Russia to be the most likely culprit. And a report last year by the National Academies of Science found the brain injuries were most likely caused by pulsed microwave energy, which former CIA Director Leon Panetta says is a serious threat.
That kind of technology is very real, and it can threaten people, not by bullets, simply by using the capabilities to send a wave into an embassy.
What's made this so tough to solve is the fact that the symptoms the Americans are reporting are so vague. Things like nausea, hearing loss, and problems with balance and memory. Many reported hearing this sound before falling ill. Now the U.S. government is scrambling to figure out just how widespread this is, with new reports of new possible cases in Russia, China, and now even here in the United States. And just this week, the Canadian group of diplomats accused their own government of withholding information about 3 new cases of brain injury among Canadian diplomats who also served in Cuba.
200 Americans have now come forward to report possible symptoms of the mysterious illness called Havana syndrome.
So, I mean, the one thing that's been really striking in our reporting on this in the last several weeks versus the last several years that we've been looking into this is there has been a very constant, steady state of reporting coming in. So at times there are, several a week coming in. And also we've learned that they're coming from all over the world. We've now been told that there have been people who have come forward, Americans who have come forward, reporting symptoms that are consistent with this so-called Havana syndrome on every continent except for Antarctica. So that really expands the aperture of this entire mystery. The other thing that's been particularly interesting just very recently is how there has been this focus on cases in Europe. So we know about at least 24 in Vienna. That's been what one person recently called, a U.S. official said was a hot spot. But also we now know about a case in Berlin. We've also learned about cases in Central Asia. So, and that goes to the question of who's behind this. Well, that's still a complete mystery. The officials we spoke with said, there was this sense that maybe Russia was behind it. There are a lot of people who are still leaning towards that. But now that it's so geographically dispersed, these cases, the idea that it's necessarily Russia, that really fights that narrative. The reality is here, U.S. officials have been looking at this for years now. They've been able to rule out a number of things. Many of the people who come forward, it wasn't poisoning. They don't believe that it was some kind of a disease that they all somehow contracted. But they haven't been able to say specifically that it's some directed energy weapon. That's why not knowing exactly what this is makes it even harder to determine any attribution, Aaron.
In August 2016, this video of what looks like a human sacrifice on the CERT campus was released to the internet and went viral. CERN and the mainstream media claimed this was a prank, yet they have never identified the woman being stabbed in the video or proof she is still alive, and it got swept under the rug. We are just supposed to trust them. You be the judge.
Pentagon files reveal UFO radiation burns and unexpected pregnancies. April 6, 2022.
A cache of 1,500 declassified documents has revealed a wide range of symptoms from UFO experiencers. The files, which were obtained through a Freedom of Information Act (FOIA) request, contain records collected by the government's secretive Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program (AATIP). The request was filed by UK tabloid The Sun, and took over 4 years to be fulfilled. According to the paper, the files include dozens of reports on the biological effects and injuries experienced by individuals who had encountered UFOs, or anomalous vehicles. Among these 300 cases were instances of unexplained radiation burns caused by some form of energy-related propulsion system. Individuals believed to have strayed too close to the anomalous vehicles also suffered from brain damage, nerve damage, headaches and heart palpitations. One report, which looked into UFO sightings collected by MUFON, recorded additional symptoms ranging from paralysis to unexpected pregnancy. There were also references to telepathic communication, alien abduction, levitation and teleportation. It concluded that there was evidence to support a hypothesis that some advanced systems are already deployed, and opaque to full U.S. understandings. Source: Live Science.
Do you think you've been a victim of extraterrestrial visitors? If so, did you experience any of the side effects that were listed here? Let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching.
Triangular UFO caught on doorbell camera in England. November 13, 2021. 43-year-old Matt Dowdy from Hertfordshire couldn't believe his eyes when he watched the footage back. Dowdy, along with his friend, had been sitting at home watching football on TV when he received an alert on his phone from his doorbell camera to tell him that someone was outside. When he played back the footage, he expected to see a person standing on his doorstep, but was surprised to discover that the camera had instead been triggered by something in the sky. Let's take a look at the doorbell cam footage and you be the judge.
Illuminati is a card game made by Steve Jackson Games in 1982. The game has ominous secret societies competing with each other to control the world through various means, including legal, illegal, and even mystical. This game is rumored to have predicted 9/11, Trump, and even the pandemic.
Clone a Ranger's card. Gives +4 on any attempt to control a personality by replacing them with a clone. Clone card. This card permits you to play from your hand a personality which duplicates one who has been assassinated. New World Order. Interesting times card. Things are getting so weird that not even the secret masters are sure what's going on. Unfortunately, this makes them grumpy, and they tend to argue a lot, slam doors, and destroy small nations.
Frankenfood card. It's got genes from a firefly, a French fry, a tomato and a Toyota. Genetic manipulation creates a tangy taste treat with a special side effect.
Could this political correctness card be a foreshadow of the real so-called cancel culture? The Conspiracy Theorists card, prized by the Illuminati. Gold from seawater. This Midas Mill card actually did predict the extraction of gold from seawater years before it was thought possible, but what do you believe?
Some believe this epidemic card is warning about the 2020 pandemic. Head in a jar card. This was even before the animated series Futurama had celebrity heads in jars. Odd. Could this be a hint about advanced technology in the future as some have claimed? Plague of Demons card. Many point to this card as to why the political landscape is so corrupted. Could it be true? Could this charismatic leader card be referring to Donald Trump as some have said? Also, the Hillary Clinton card seems ominous as well. This Hollywood card seems to point to the fact that Hollywood has been known to hypnotize certain people, like a spell. Could these cards really be predictive programming like some have claimed? Many have said this is eerily similar to what happened on the 9/11 tragedy in New York in 2001, but what do you believe?
Whatever you believe, the Illuminati, New World Order card game continues to attract conspiracy theorists 27 years after its launch for its apparently uncanny ability to foretell the future. Is the proof in the pictures? Or is this all just a big coincidence? Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.